Thank you guys for clicking on the video. I am Sully, and today, fellas, we're going to talk about Hut. Some of you were just like, oh, really? Not another Hut video. I'm just kidding. We're not talking about Hut. But I did want to talk about something that happened yesterday, and I wanted to do it while it was still fresh instead of J-Lo releasing Jenny on the block, or Jenny from the block, and coming back 20 years later and shaking her booty like she's still 26 while her CD sales are plummeting. I figured why not just drop it right now for you guys. And this Scott kid, I'm not going to speculate his age. I think he's pretty young, and I think I know he says a lot of things for reaction, but I like philosophy. I like thinking about views on life, not just Christian ones, but non-Christian ones. I watch a lot of atheist videos and hear their arguments, and I'm sort of familiar with their arguments against religion. And one of them is, like, we should get rid of religion because religion causes wars, murders, and all this stuff. And I hear this a lot, and I finally responded to his point with, you know, if we're talking about the motivations of killing people and we should get rid of those, Jordans are a great example. Like, there are people who shoot each other over a shoe. I would never do that. I don't think shoes are, I'm not even interested in shoes, but I think the thing is that it's crazy to me that man can commit murder in and of itself, regardless of the motivation, because I think the goal behind that thinking that if we get rid of religion, there won't be these wars for religion. But there will still be wars because you can't limit man's motivation for whatever he wants, whether it's greed, he wants more oil, or wants more money, more territory. If he's in power, that will motivate him to commit acts of evil, even if there's no religion. And what a lot of people fail to say is all the good that religion does, all the charities, all the hospitals, all these things they never bring up, because it's almost like a newspaper that I work for. If we release a headline that's wrong, people will point that out to us, but they'll never point out all the days we did the headline correctly. It's only until something's wrong that people take notice, and I think that's just the nature of man. You know, we just get used to things being a certain way, but then when they're out of whack, had trouble saying that, when they're out of whack, that's when we have issues. And I think that's part of man's looking at religion. We just simply look at all the bad and we're like, well, we need to get rid of that. But I think the larger problem is that man can commit murder in and of itself. Man can commit wrong acts in and of himself. And I think trying to limit the motivation, you know, a man who wants to cheat on another man's wife and he kills the man, that's happened plenty of times throughout history. Do we therefore, like, you know, get rid of marriage, or do we get rid of, you know, are his acts correct? Like, no, we would say his acts are wrong, but you can't get rid of his motivation to commit murder, which is the bigger problem of this whole evil and religion thing. Is that, for me, man can commit murder or commit wars, and they could think that hundreds of thousands of probably millions of people's lives are worth that effort. And I'm not talking about like when Pearl Harbor was bombed and you know, then we decided to go and defend ourselves. I'm just talking about flat out, I want your territory, I don't care, and we just go in and take them out. You know, the fact that a man could say, like, all these people's lives and all these families affected, that's worth it out of his greed, that's a bigger side. And to me, that points to that man is evil. Like, we are a fallen group of people. I think that, you know, people want to say that man is a good thing, or man is good in and of itself, but I would go on CNN, just go to your justice system of your newspaper or wherever they report the crimes, and it's alarming. I mean, and you look at ISIS, I think, you know, how they're beheading people. The fact that they would consider beheading another man just because he's, you know, their political and religious affiliations is crazy. And the bigger problem, how I wanted to tie this whole thing into, is that we have to have open communication with each other regardless of our viewpoints. And I think it was pretty cool, you know, guys were stepping up and they were saying like, you know, Scott, you shouldn't say that. Even though you disagree with his view, you know, you shouldn't say that. And I think it was cool that people who weren't sharing my view on faith or my faith were stepping up and saying, you know, let's be respectful. And we have to keep that dialogue going as a group of people, because how bigotry and how these social dividers, you know, why people don't talk about politics and religion is because people don't know how to handle it at the end of the day. People tend to line themselves up with who think like them at the end of the day. That's how man is. And when you do it with issues that aren't talked about very often, you're only creating a further division when you then talk to someone from the other side, because you don't know how to approach it. And I think it was pretty cool yesterday how it was respectful, and we all said some things, but it wasn't like, outside of Scott, it wasn't this crazy throwing insults at each other. And I think that's what we need more of, that if we can get past our differences and talk about, well, why don't you agree with what I agree, and let's talk about it and be respectful. That's the big thing I aim for, is that whether you agree with me or not, I need to treat you with respect, because your ideas, you have your reasons for why you believe what you believe, and I have my reasons for why I believe what I believe. And I wouldn't want someone just to like cut me off or generalize me, and why should I do that to someone else? And so I think respect, if you show respect, respect will be given to you. And if it's not given to you, then chances are that person probably isn't worth having that conversation with. You know, and that's how I feel, because once you violate respect, the discussion is then ended. And the progress of a society or a civilization is not so much by how much money they make or how much stuff they do, but how well they communicate with each other about ideas of the day. That's how you know society is moving forward. That's why you look at the civil rights era. You know, a big part of that was because a big part of man moving forward was the communication of ideas, whether it was based on God or secular. You know, I'll leave that up to you. I have my own theories, but you know, MLK said that man, you know, God is made. God, I think he said, like, you know, one of his principles was God made man regardless of color, and he has, you know, those rights. And I think that's true, and that's how I tend to approach it. You know, a person is a person. They demand respect because they're a person. They have ideas. But anyways, I think, again, the big part is communication of ideas and respect, because if you're not treated with respect, what's the motivation to talk to you? So let me know what you guys think. I sort of rambled. I don't know. I wanted to get this commentary. It may have been a little deep for you, but I hope you reached back in your brain and was ready to handle this. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let me know. Leave your thoughts down below about what you feel about like discussing ideas that are sort of touchy with people. Let me know down below. Hope you guys have a great day. I am Sally. Peace in the Middle East, because we need it. Like, I don't know, I had something. I gotta work on that. I'm trying to alter it. I'm trying to work on it, but hope you guys enjoy the video. Have a great day. Peace from the Middle East. And I'm from Southeast. Take care.